All right, guys, so here it is. This is the GymPT Formula. This is the step-by-step blueprint to opening a cash practice in a CrossFit Box, personal training gym, yoga studio, or any fitness facility. So this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover exactly what you need to get started. We're going to go over the top negotiation strategies for subleasing a space. We're going to go over the pros and cons of setting up in a gym. I'm going to teach you how to market your gym-based clinic, even if you don't have any patients already, or you don't have a caseload, or you don't have anything. I'm going to teach you how to market your gym-based practice. I'm going to teach you how to grow and scale your gym-based practice, your GymPT. So who am I to tell you how to do this? Well, my name is LeBauer. If you don't know me, I started my career as a massage therapist back in 2009. It's been longer than that. I started my career as a massage therapist back in 1999. Okay? Who here was had graduated high school in 1999? So I graduated high school. I graduated high school in 92. So I went to massage therapy school, graduated in 99. I went to PT school in 2006 and graduated in 2008. I've owned a 100% cash practice since 2009. We now have multiple physical therapists. We've got another massage therapist on staff along with my wife. We do yoga, we do health coaching, etc. And I'm currently not seeing patients. You know what I'm doing? I get to travel around the country and help other amazing therapists while my clinic generates revenue, helps patients. We're helping more patients today than we were helping when I was working full-time, which is amazing. I mean, that's all I've ever wanted to do is help more people. So who am I to say this stuff, right? Who am I to teach you how to start a practice in a gym? Well, look, my clinic isn't in a gym, but that doesn't mean I haven't owned a business or worked a business in a gym. I had a massage therapy practice. I partnered with gyms. I was a massage therapist employed as a massage therapist in the gym. I know how the marketing goes. And I've put 500 people through my Cash PT blueprint. I can't even tell you how many of them have started practices in a gym, because there are some unique things about opening a business in a gym. And there are a lot of things that are business principles. So I'm going to share with you everything I can tonight. I'm going to share with you everything I can so that you can get the most out of partnering with a gym, a fitness facility, yoga studio, wherever you say. Look, I've also partnered with yoga studios. I partnered with personal trainers. Like, we know how they think and we know what they need. So without further ado, let me get into the details about exactly what you can do to get started, because the biggest thing in your way from getting started is you. Okay? So there's some details that we're going to go over, but the thing that's keeping you getting started is yourself. Once you get out of your own way, your business will flourish. You just have to take the leap. So here we go. So here's what you need to get started with a practice. You need a license. You need a business license, a physical therapy license. I mean, it's plain and simple. Someday if you've already got a physical therapy license, you may need a business license. So what does that look like? It looks different in every city and every state. In North Carolina, there's a thing called the Art of Healing license, and that is our business license, but it's issued by the state, not the city. Okay? You need liability insurance. So go to American Professional Agency, and if they underwrite in your state, use them, because they are cheaper than everyone else, HPSO, CM&F, and whoever else. Okay? They were started by psychotherapists, and they underwrite for occupational therapists, PTs, everybody, physicians, dentists, etc. They just don't do it in all 50 states, because every state does their own insurance laws. they do about 35 states. If you can get them, go do it. If not, go find the next best person and move on. Don't labor over who's going to be your liability insurance provider. Just get one and go, because we're talking $100. $100 is nothing compared to everything you stand to gain in the long run and how much your time is worth. The other thing you need are your hands. These things, manos, okay? Your hands. What you need to help patients, okay? If you're not a manual therapist and you just exercise, well, maybe you don't need your hands. You need your brain and you need some equipment. So hence, let's open a practice in a gym. We'll get to that in a minute. But for me, the way I want to practice is I want to be able to help you in the airport, at a wedding, at my clinic, on a portable massage table, or anywhere, or at PT school, anywhere you can think of. I want to be able to help you there, okay? So because I might show up to a yoga studio one day and do some screenings and some treatments, and maybe I can help you there. I might not have all the equipment I need. I might be at the gym, and let's say someone else is on one of the machines that I need. Well, I don't want to stop your treatment because the machine's not available. You just need your hands, your critical mind, and you need a patient. You get a patient. We'll talk about how to get patients in a minute. You also need the ability to accept payments. Okay? You need to be able to accept payments. So the easiest thing is go get a Square reader. But what do I use? I use GoCard Connect because it allows us to do payments, it allows us to do payment plans, it allows us to do recurring billing, card on file, a whole bunch of other things. But almost all this stuff can be done on your phone or a laptop, or what do they call those newfangled things called tablets. You can do it on a tablet. You need a location to treat patients, which could be the sidewalk, it could be your house, it could be a clinic, it could be a gym. Okay, you need a location, you need a secure location, and you need a marketing system and a plan. You need to have a plan. You can go in willy-nilly, as my kids call it, willy-nilly. You can go in just kind of by the seat of your pants and do some good and get some patients. I mean, most people can. If you're personable, you can do it. Do you want to replace your job? Do you want to have the freedom and the lifestyle that you're really looking for? Do you want to be able to pay down your loans? You got to have a system and you got to have a plan for moving forward. And then I said, you've got to have a willing patient to treat you and to pay you money, to pay you cash, to give you energy in exchange for your energy, to give you some money in exchange for the service that you provide. Okay. So here's a few pros of setting up in a gym. There's low overhead. I 100% believe in a low overhead practice. Okay, a low overhead practice is the way to go. I've known this since day negative 250. A low overhead practice. So when I was in PD school, when my first clinical rotation your first clinical rotation always has a big impact on you. This really had a big impact on me. It was low overhead. This practice wasn't that low overhead, but it wasn't the $5 million fitness facility, state-of-the-art PT facility that you find in a lot of these, fancy schmancy orthopedic physician-owned practices. So low overhead is gym. What? You're subleasing a space. The equipment's already there. You don't have to go out and buy $20,000, $100,000 worth of equipment. It's all there, and there's space that's being unused, so you can generally get it pretty cheap. Equipment, it's there. What do you need? Squat racks, barbells, what do you want? Like kettlebells. I mean, a good kettlebell isn't cheap, and a cheap kettlebell isn't that good, and they're still not that cheap. There's a lot of unused space. So let's say they have 10 classes a day. That's 10 hours a day. There's still 14 hours a day when you can treat patients, right? I mean, I know you're not going to treat patients in the middle of the night, but there's a lot of unused space and unused time. Even there's unused rooms. Or, I mean, I've been in so many CrossFit boxes where they have all these, like, because it's in a big warehouse, they take the big warehouse space and they have all the former office space and it's just empty. Or they're new treatment, they can be treatment rooms. They've become storage rooms for a lot of these gyms. Or the class doesn't take up the whole place. So there maybe is a rack in the corner or some equipment in the corner. All you really need is a 10 by 10 or 15 by 15 foot space and a few bands and weights and whatever you need, and you got this, right? Okay, another big pro setting up a gym is highly targeted warm prospects. Talk about marketing. If your perfect patient is Joe the meathead and he likes to bang weights, I mean, look, I say that because John Russin, who came to our Platinum Mastermind back in September, he's the self-professed meathead. He loves it. So it's like, are you John and you want to treat him and other people like him, you're in the right place. If you want to work with, the next person, Mr. Jones, who's the CrossFit guy, and you're like in a yoga studio, you're not going to get to see them, but you have a spot in the CrossFit gym, and that's your perfect patient. You practice, you play CrossFit. Like, I've been doing CrossFit for a couple of years. It's still funny. I'm like, oh, you go and play CrossFit. No, you don't play CrossFit, but you go do CrossFit. You go work out. I'm sure there's a name in there somewhere that I've missed because I'm 45 years old at this point rather than 24. You go and do CrossFit. You're part of the culture. Then people are naturally going to want to come see you, especially if that's where you work out and that's your sport and that's your passion and your drive and everything. Okay, these are high. I mean, you can't get high. I mean, there's not like a store or a club where I can go to find Jennifer who has back pain and she's been suffering with back pain and being unable to play with her kids for 6 months. Like, that store doesn't exist in Greensboro, but with CrossFit, with yoga, with a regular gym, or powerlifting, bar studio, Pilates. I mean, they're all there, and they're coming there multiple times a day in troves. Okay, you've got a audience who are captured, like they're there for their 30-minute minimum workout. You've got your athletes and perfect patients. You're just going to be surrounded by them. It's where you feel at home. So if you feel at home in the gym, this is exactly where you need to go find your patients, because they're going to be struggling. And there are going to be some people who aren't there because they can't come in because they're afraid to move. They're afraid to lift. They've been told never to squat anymore, never to lift overhead, never to lift more than 35 pounds, etc. So you may have to go a couple other places to find them, but they're going to feel really comfortable coming to see you in the gym, in the box, in the studio. Okay, here's a couple cons of setting up in a gym. And I'm not saying this to discourage you, but I'm going to share these things with you because some of these things have happened to me, and I've seen these things happen to other people who I've coached. And it's like, I can predict what's going to happen, just like you can predict to certain patients, hey, you're going to come in and feel a little bit better today, but if I don't see you for another week, you're probably still going to be hurting when you come back in. Like, you can predict these things. So here's some cons of setting up in a gym. Often, the owners try to control your business. And that looks a couple different ways. So when I was subleasing a space in a gym in San Francisco, the owners brought me in and they said, okay, we've got 300 members and we're going to do all this marketing for you, and we'll start you in 3 weeks, and we'll send out the mailers, and we'll do all these things, and we'll get you set up in the room, and we'll do all this stuff for you. And I show up, and they had gone on vacation, and they hadn't done anything. And then They wanted to tell me when to treat people. They wanted to kind of give me a hard time for not wanting to be there and not wanting to, put some effort into building a business, because they were paying me for me to build my own business. They were paying me to service their business in a way that, I think we had a 50-50 split, which is pretty standard for massage therapists. And I was there as an independent contractor. That's not what you're going to be doing as a PT. You're not going to be going in 50-50 split. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But they often try to control your business. They think that, oh, I've got a business. My gym is successful. You need to market like this. I've seen this too many times where, and I'm not going to rattle off people's names because they haven't given me permission to share these stories, where they go in. I had one of my coaching clients moved across country to California, set up his cash practice in one of these big CrossFit boxes, and did really well. And then the owner was trying to tell him, don't do this, don't do that, just making life difficult. I've got another mastermind student right now who's partnered with someone at a fitness studio at a gym, making his life difficult because of the arrangement and the way it's set up. It's because they think, I've got the successful business, you don't, you're just starting, so I'm going to do everything. And sometimes this comes from good intentions, but they just don't get marketing and sales the way you do. I've seen people go in and they're charging $250 and the membership of the gym is, $50, and the gym would never sell training or physical therapy that much. I mean, there's a lot of, and the owners don't really get what you're trying to do. So just be aware that this can happen. For many people, this isn't something that happens. One of the big things that they do to control your business, and they're not really doing this, and some of you guys or PTs who I've seen, this isn't the way this isn't what I tell people to do when I've coached them, but one of the reasons we're doing this right now is because I want to make sure that everyone understands, when you sublease a space in a gym, do not agree to paying them a percentage of what you charge. Okay, do not do that. It's wrong. It's wrong for two different reasons. There's two main reasons. One, referral for profit. You're giving them a percentage of your profits. That's referral for profit. I'm not going to come at you and say, hey, look, John, this is referral for profit. Don't do that. I'm going to say, it's not in your best interest as a business owner to give a percentage of what you collect or what you charge to someone else for rent. And a lot of people do this because they are hesitant to invest in their own business by saying, okay, I'll rent the space for $500 a month or $1,000 a month. They're basically saying, I want to take less risk, so I'll pay a percentage of what I get. Well, what does that do is, if you've agreed to 20%, 25%, God forbid 50%, kind of like what I did, basically they own 50% of your business without any of the risk. Okay, do you get that? You don't want that to happen. So what you're going to do instead is just negotiate a flat fee. Because with a percentage, if you raise your rates, if you work with me and I teach you how to ethically raise your rates, and you raise your rates from $125 to $250, now all of a sudden that gym isn't just getting, let's make the math easy, $100 to $200. Instead of getting $30 a visit, now they're getting $60 a visit. Okay, 10 people a week is $600 a week. Times 4 weeks out of the month is $2,400 a month. That's some pretty darn expensive rent. Okay, when you could probably be getting away with $600 to $1,000 a month. Okay, so if you were going to negotiate a sliding scale, negotiate a flat fee, and I would also negotiate a level at which it stops, and instead of $25 a visit, now it's just $500 a month or $600 a month or whatever it is. You do the math. Once you start seeing 10 people a week at $25 a visit, it's $250, so it's $1,000 a month. That's a lot for rent in most places. maybe big cities, San Francisco, DC, Denver, New York, that's a pretty good deal. But in most places around the country, $1,000 a month for a spot in a gym that may or may not be your own dedicated place, depending on the size and the real estate in the local area, it's usually not a good deal to give a percentage or to do an unlimited dollar amount per visit. Okay, like I said, owners sometimes try to control your marketing. I've seen this happen dozens of times. They think that since you're there, they're going to control your marketing. Or you get there and you're like, okay, they told me they were going to send me a bunch of patients, and then they don't let you write the copy the way that you want it to be, or the way you've been taught, or the way that you've invested to learn. They start controlling the marketing message. All right, well then now it's not really your business because you've gone into the gym to service their clientele. They can sometimes treat you like an employee. Pricing. I've seen this too. It's like, okay, we need to raise your rates. Oh, well, the owner of the gym won't let me. The owner of the gym sets the rates. The owner of the gym will never refer patients to me if my rates are above X. Okay, so now they're controlling your business. They're controlling your pricing. One of the other big cons of setting up in a gym is now you're relying on one main source of revenue for all your patients or your referrals. So that can get tricky in that if your relationship goes sour, okay, all the patients won't continue coming, or they won't be referred to you, or let's say you raise your rates, or the personal trainer comes to you and says, Aaron, I know you do dry needling and I know you've helped me in the past, but your rates are too expensive. I've got to get the dry needling cheaper somewhere else. Which is what a personal trainer said to me a few years ago as someone who sent me tons of business. We raised our rates. And since the first time he had seen us, and this was still when we were like $147 an hour. And he's like, I can get dry needling somewhere else. Well, look, I didn't start with him dry needling. I'd only done it at that point recently with him because he asked about it. He said, do you do dry needling? I said, sure. He came in, I evaluated him. We did some needling. We did just a bunch of other things. I gave him a plan of care. After a few visits, he was like, I've got to get it cheaper somewhere. He commoditized me, which is something that we've talked about before. Don't let people commoditize you. And if someone commoditizes you or a relationship is bad, you've got one source of patients. One of the other things is if you want to serve like the greater area, other gyms and coaches and trainers will be hesitant to refer their patients to you because you're located in their competitor or you're located in a location that they view as competition. Even if we're talking Fit Body Boot Camp and CrossFit, like those clientele are not the same. They may not send people over to see you because they fear that they're sending their clientele away. Okay, so take those things into consideration when you get started in this model. And if you understand what you're getting into, you can prepare yourself for the worst possible scenario, and then you don't focus on it. So here's a couple of negotiation strategies for subleasing a space. When you're looking for a space, you can ask if there's space available. And what I wouldn't do, don't go out and say, hey, do you have a place for rent? Because a lot of gym owners or gyms aren't actively renting space. But you might ask, hey, after you get to know them, hey, John, do you guys have any extra room or storage rooms available that might be open for me to come in, do some treatments there? Oh, let me check. It's just the way you frame it. It's like, do you have a spot for rent? So if you called around and said, do you have a spot for rent? I'm a physical therapist. Do you have a spot for rent? They might say, no, we've already got a chiropractor here. You get to know the owner or some of the coaches. Say, hey, is there any extra space there? Oh yeah, we've got some extra space. Do you think, would you guys be open to me subleasing the space so I can see some of my patients here? and get them into CrossFit, etc.? Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got a chiropractor's room across the hall. Awesome, great. We work well together. Boom. Very different story. When you start talking about money, and this goes for anyone, whether you're doing it in a gym or brick and mortar, you're buying a car, you're negotiating your salary, you're buying a used scooter, like an old vintage scooter like I do, always get the other party to say their number first, to offer first. Okay, so instead of going around saying, well, do you have a space for rent? And they say yes, you say, all right, I'll give you $1,000 for it. You might say, is there extra room available or that I might rent from you to see some patients? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, how much are you thinking? Or what are you thinking would be a fair amount for this? And they might be like, oh, how about $250 a month? You're like, hell yeah, I'll take that all day long. You're like, okay, sure. You know, the same thing happened to me when I was buying a Lambretta scooter. I took probably $800 in 20s with me to Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I got there and talked to the guy for about an hour. He didn't want to shut up. He wanted to tell me the story about the scooter, and I thought, you know, that's fair. It's still $800 is going to be a deal for this thing. And I get around and I said, well, what do you think it's worth? How much do you want for it? And he's like, well, you know, he might have said something else. I said, no, just tell me what do you want for it. He's like, well, how about, what is it? He said, how about $75? And I'm sitting there going, oh my God. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I still had to get change for a 20. Like I didn't have any fives with me. So always get the other person to offer first because they may be lower than you expect. It may be a better deal than you want, or they could be in a completely different ballpark. And if in that case, you counter offer and you say, this is what I was thinking. Do you think we could make that work? And you want to go lower on your counter offer. You want to go lower or higher. You want to go the other direction more than where you're willing to settle. Because ideally, if they're an astute business person, they're going to know, okay, I'm going to offer here, you're going to offer there, and we're going to meet in the middle. We don't have to go back and forth 20 times like you would in some countries. It's just like offer, let's make it work here. Negotiate, okay? Like I said, counter offer. Don't be afraid to counter offer because you got nothing to lose. Because if you're going to work in a gym, I guarantee you there's more than 2 gyms in your town. Well, maybe 1 or 2 of you. But there's always somewhere else where you can do this. You can start in your garage like my friend John Davidson. John just turned his garage into a gym. Now he's got an amazingly successful CrossFit Box and running classes in there multiple times a day. He's totally crushing it. He started in a garage. So the next course we'll do is the Garage PT Blueprint. But anyways, counter offer and find common ground because there is common ground. It's just like selling physical therapy. The other person has to value what you bring to the table, but you have to ask the right questions. So a lot of times it's going to take asking the right questions is who's your perfect clientele? Because not all CrossFits are the same. Some of them are competitive. Some of them are for, parents, people that are older that don't need to like exercise to failure every day. They just want to move well. Some are, I'm sure women focused, college kid, age kid focused. Like, who is it? So find common ground. Who is it? You ask, who do you like? Who do you like to work with? What kinds of things do you offer? What problems do they struggle with? What's the number one reason people stop their memberships? Oh, it might be they move out of town. Okay. Have you guys ever had people stop their memberships because they were injured? Yeah, all the time. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many of my coaching clients have been told by their orthopedic surgeons never to do CrossFit again. Well, do you think it'd be valuable if there was a doctor here, 5 days a week? Yeah, all right. Well, I'm a doctor. My name is Dr. LeBauer. If I didn't let you know that before, my name is Dr. LeBauer. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I'd love to be here with you. I do CrossFit 5 days a week anyways. I'd love to come work out and maybe utilize that corner over there to do some free screens, work with some of your members, and keep them on their monthly plan. Because recurring revenue is important, and that's what gyms are built off of, is a recurring revenue model. It's great. Like, we're not just talking $100 a month. We're talking this person's worth $1,200, $1,500 a year. It's $150 a month. It's about $2,000 a year this person is worth to them, right? People are paying. Look, they could go to Planet Fitness and pay $20 a month. They're paying a premium to be in CrossFit, to be at the private training studio. The Baptiste Yoga Studio where I practice yoga is $120 a month for unlimited classes. I mean, that's not cheap. You can go to Globo Gym for $25 a month and get, different yoga. So you find out what they want, find out what they need, and you can absolutely create common ground where they will want you in there. It's all about what's in it for them. Remember this when you're marketing, when you're negotiating. It's like, what's in it for me? What is it? WIIM. What's in it for me? You got to think about, what does the other person think? What's in it for me? Or what's in it for them? You just lead with value. You give to get. Give value first. A lot of times giving value means asking the right questions. And as I mentioned before, negotiate a flat fee, not a percentage, if you want to negotiate a scalable model, whether that's a flat fee per month or per patient. Don't negotiate a percentage. So here's the top marketing strategies. There's a lot of marketing strategies. So here's a few things I'll say is, like, these aren't all of them, but these are the main ones that will allow you to get started even if you don't already have a clientele or a book full of patients. You're going to do group workshops. So what does that look like? You're going to do a mobility workshop. Maybe you'll do a lifting workshop or a back pain workshop or overhead athlete workshop, or you'll do a shoulder pain, figure out, like, what are the top one or two things that most people in the gym or studio or box are struggling with, and create a workshop for them. And what does a workshop look like? It can be free or paid. If they typically do paid workshops, or it's free for members and paid for anyone else, do it paid. A lot of times you can split 50-50 and make $500 to get some new patients, which is just what I did. I did a yoga and back pain workshop for a local yoga studio. I think I made $500 in an hour and a half. I got 15. Let's see. I think I brought 10 of the people off of my email list, so about 20 new people on my email list. I got 2 new patients before the workshop even started. I got, I think, 3 patients from the workshop and countless other patients, and treating some of the teachers there since. And I've done it 3 times at the same studio. Want to do it again soon. So one of the things you need to do is teach something of value, but you're going to teach them what is going on, why it's important that they do something, help them identify something in their body that they can feel and doesn't work well. You're going to get everyone's name, phone number, and email contact information, and you're going to tell them, look, I'll send you the handouts later on. I'll send you the video or handouts later on, and get them to do that to sign in. Now you got a bunch of people, and you're going to follow up with them on the phone the next day. Okay, you're going to train the coaches and the business owner. And you're not going to go train them in the gym stuff. Maybe you can. If you're a powerlifting coach, you can go train them in some powerlifting. But what I mean is, go train them to identify problems. Go train them to identify something new that they might not have known before. One of the things I like to do is teach them, okay, how do you know if someone should be lifting overhead, deadlifting, or squatting, even if their physician might say never do it again? Okay, so I'm going to show them a couple simple screens and say, if a patient can't do this, it's an injury waiting to happen. If they do this and it hurts, then that's something that you shouldn't be training overhead. Especially, if I'll do like an unloaded, screen. It's like, you can't do, Like back scratch tests without pain, well, they shouldn't be lifting weight behind their back without, it's like if you can't do the like the simple impingement test, then you shouldn't be pressing overhead 500 pounds, 500 pounds. You really need to come see me first, but do as many deadlifts and squats as you need, as you want, as possible. Go all in on the movement patterns that work and modify or get a medical professional to look at people for the movement patterns that are causing pain, especially pain if it's unloaded. I'll teach them things like that. You want to treat the coaches and the business owner. You want to get your hands on them somehow. You can do discounted services. You could do sample sessions, a total body diagnostic, get your hands on them, treat them. Some people even treat them for free. I'm not a big proponent of giving away free treatment or trades, but that works for some people. You just get your hands on them all so they understand what you do. Take them through, a sample treatment. Be like, this is a sample treatment, and by the way, I can see these things in you. This is what I would recommend. Because you're the owner or coach, we can do a 15% discount, or you pay ahead. If you want to pay ahead for all your things, I'll give you a 10% discount. It could be the same discount you give everyone else. One of the other things you're going to do is you're going to make videos. You make videos of you in the gym teaching about some very specific problem. You teach what's the problem and why it's important that people identify it and that they do something about it. You don't need to teach how to fix. You really don't need to go and teach the how to fix, because that should be your job when they become your patient. You're going to make these videos. They can be 1 to 5 minutes. You're going to upload them to temi.com, get them transcribed. You're going to put the video on YouTube. Then you're going to make a blog post out of it with the transcription that you'll fix. And then you're going to post it all over social media. Boom. You're going to do email marketing. So you use your email marketing to follow up with people from the group workshops, but you're also going to offer a free video training, a free ebook, or a free guide, some kind of free gift in exchange for someone's email and name. And you're going to follow up with them by email. And you're going to follow up with them by email, and you're going to send emails to your new patients. You're going to do a grand opening. I love the grand opening. The grand opening, it can be a grand opening or a grand reopening. You pick a charity, raffle off tickets, get sponsors so the gym can sponsor it. The sponsors are going to blast out your event on their email list. You're going to do a grand opening. It's a meet and greet. You can do a raffle for not a service, but for some tangible item, like a Theracane or a ball or something like that. And then you get everyone who attends their contact information. And I think there's like it's a $5 raffle. Everyone puts in $5. All the proceeds go to the charity. Boom. Grand opening. So the other big thing you need to do is work out in the gym. You need to be present there. You need to have a presence there. You work out with people. You go to classes. They get to know you. They trust you. People are going to start asking you questions after the class, especially if you've taught the teachers something. So I was in yoga class the other day, and the teacher's like, I was in yoga training with Aaron, or I did this class with Aaron, and he taught us about squatting and that you need to squat every day. So we're going to get down in Malasana and squat. And because she's now positioned me as the expert, people after class are coming up to me asking me about their problems. They're not asking the yoga teachers or the CrossFit coaches about their problems when they have absolutely no training in it if they're not a medical professional. And now they know me. And if the teachers say, hey, you know what, that's not something we can help with in yoga, you need to go see Dr. LeBauer, boom, patient comes to see us. So going back to the videos, the blog, social media thing, there's a temi.com is where you want to upload your videos or audios to get transcripts. So here's how you're going to grow and scale your practice. You're going to build systems. Okay, so what's a system? It's something that can be easily replicated, because systems run businesses. You hire people to run your systems. So start building your systems now. It's like the checklist of how to set up your room. A checklist of how to open the clinic in the morning, exactly what to say to people on the phone when they call. You're just going to create checklists. You can use paper and pencil. You could use Excel. You could use Word. Google Keep, Google Docs. What else do we use? We use our CRM, our email client relationship management, Active Campaign to create systems. We use a combination of all these things. Pick something and run with it. And just start writing down what you do. If you've repeated something 10 times, write it down, because that's something that can be replaced. And yes, you, Dr. PT, you can be replaced. Okay, I've already replaced myself. By the end of the next week, I'll have replaced myself 3 times. You are replaceable, and that's what you want. If you want to be able to go on vacation, hang out with your family, go to a yoga retreat, a CrossFit Open, something like that for 3 to 5 days or even a week, and still generate revenue in your business, you have to build systems. You want to replicate yourself, and then you need to replace yourself. Replacing yourself means you buy back your time. Because remember earlier I said time is one of the most valuable things that you have. You might not realize it now, and when you're just getting started, you have an abundance of time. I, with 2 kids and 2 businesses and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees, I don't have an abundance of time. My time is one of the most valuable things. So anytime I get stuck doing something and I say, could I do this better or faster, or have someone else do it for me for less than it's going to cost me to do it, I'm going to do that. For instance, my car. I love working on my scooters and my cars. There's no one here in town that's going to work on a vintage scooter except me, but there are people that will work on a vintage VW, and there was a job that required me taking the dashboard out, which is like a 10-hour job. I decided I was going to have someone else do it, because I don't have 10 hours on one weekend. I'm traveling, I've got my kids, it's going to take me 5 weekends plus back and forth ordering. I was like, I'm just going to have someone else do it. It was worth it to me to do that. You need to hire an assistant. So we're talking about growing and scaling. So you're busy, you're seeing somewhere between 12 and 20 people a week. You need to start thinking about hiring an assistant to come and work with you. Because what they're going to do is they're going to give you another hour or 2 a day. So for $12 to $15 an hour, okay, if they work 10 hours in one day, at $15 an hour, that's $150. You should be generating that in 1 hour as a physical therapist. Okay, so if they can give you back at least an hour and 1 minute, 61 minutes, it's worth paying them $150, and they're not going to work for 10 hours a day. So you're probably going to pay them $100 a day to start, maybe less. If they make it so that you don't have to change the room and you don't have to answer 5 phone calls, which take 20 minutes, which if you're onboarding people the way that I teach it, it should take 15 to 20 minutes for everybody on the phone. Then you've saved your time and you've saved yourself money. Okay, you pay them $12, so you can go generate $200 or $250 all day long. I'm gonna make that trade. Okay, we'll call him an assistant. And Amber's my, customer care specialist, my client care specialist, my patient care specialist. She's really our customer care specialist. She's she's great. She's amazing. She's worth every penny. Okay. Then you're going to hire other physical therapists. Like I said, you're going to replace yourself. Okay. Because you can hire another PT and pay them less. Then you generate an income. That's the business world. There's employees and there's business owners. And then there's people that are employees thrust into business ownership and they don't do so well. So the sooner you become an employer, the CEO mindset, the sooner you'll be able to grow and scale and find massive success in your business. You have to hire other people to do the work for you. Because you can go treat patients, but as soon as you get stuck treating patients 25 hours a week, you don't have time to market and grow your business and plan and look for that second location, hire the next PT, go out and meet other people, generate more revenue, sell people into higher level plans of care. You could do $225 a month, $250 a month, even like we're doing membership plans for people to come and do one session with you, and they get a bunch of other bonuses. I'd rather sell someone into that, than something else. Oh, shoot, you could do $5,000 a month for the right people. What's stopping you from doing that? Like that's where I'd spend my time. Okay, then you want to expand to new locations. So how do you expand to a location? Okay, you could start in 2 different locations. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, CrossFit Box A, Tuesday, Thursday, CrossFit Box B, or Yoga Studio A, Yoga Studio B. Absolutely great. Or you just fill up one location. Now you hire someone to come take care of the patients there, and you go start location 2. But you've better have built your systems for location 1 before you open location 2. Otherwise, you're reinventing the wheel. And once you go from 2 to 3, business location 1 and 2 are going to be operating so different from each other. There's going to be no congruency, and it's going to be crazy. So you want to build systems, and then you expand. And what does that mean? You do what Cameron Dennis did. He was one of my mastermind students. He opened a new location in another town about 15 minutes away. And then he got a third location in another small town about 15 minutes away. You just get one location on this side of town, one location on the other side of town. Your town might be so big that you're in a studio here and 2 blocks away. Like Denver, you've got CrossFit boxes and power yoga studios just sitting on top of each other. There's so many people out there. There's so much opportunity that, I don't know what's the right word, the SAT word is, you'd be remiss to think that you can't do so well just in one location. I know that it's absolutely possible for you to do well in multiple locations. So it's just one of those things where you've got to dream big and think big. And there's so many people in your town that need your help, that work out, that want to go better, faster, stronger, longer, that you need to get in front of them and offer them something that they want. So here's just a few other considerations before we finish up. If you partner with someone, do get some kind of co-branding on their website. You get some co-branding in their emails, where it's maybe like, it's not that you get a new logo together, but it's you're somewhere, you have a presence on their website and vice versa. In the email blasts that they have, or blog post blasts, or other things. And if they're not doing it, like they need to be doing this, but whatever they're doing in their marketing, you need to be somehow co-branded with them. You want to kind of negotiate this in your lease, in your sublease. But don't rely only on the gym for patients. Do your own marketing. Go outside of the gym and bring people in. That increases your value. Now you're bringing your own patients to that facility, and you're even more valuable to them. And they're more likely to send you patients and trust you that you're not trying to take people away. Do make a plan B. Like, what if this one doesn't work out? What if the owner tries to control my marketing? What if they want to control my prices? What if they don't agree when I try to go back and renegotiate from a 30% to $25 a visit, or $500 or $600 a month? Make a plan B. Always have a plan B. What would be my other option? You've got to have options, but then you figure out which one's the best and go for it. Just have a plan B. Don't get stuck without a plan B. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Perfection in business is going to ruin you. Perfection in PT school is what we're striving for, but in business, 75, 80%, that's good enough. Jump in with both feet and just do it.